Now, here's a question for you. Should people be allowed to carry concealed handguns on college campuses? Tomorrow marks 1 year since a mentally ill young man took 32 lives and then his own at Virginia Tech University. A lot of people might think that keeping guns off campus is a step towards greater safety, but what if that's not true? Thousands of students around the country say campus safety would be enhanced if they were allowed to carry guns around. And some of those students go to Virginia Tech. The memories are still raw. On that windy April day last year, when death descended on Virginia Tech, students, faculty, and staff confronted one of America's worst nightmares, a mad, broken young man armed to the teeth. Hokie Nation, as they call this close-knit community, came together, rallied, and mourned with dignity and a distinctive spirit. 1 year later, the Virginia Tech campus is once again an idyllic place, and Norris Hall, where 30 people were murdered by Sung-Hui Cho, and where he took his own life, is being transformed into a center for peace studies and violence prevention.
How emotional has this gotten?
So it might shock you to learn that for some students here, the answer to Cho's gun rampage is this. That's Ken Stanton, a 30-year-old engineering graduate student at Virginia Tech, and the head of the Students for Concealed Carry on campus.
A lot of people don't understand the aspect of carrying for self-defense.
That's right. What Stanton wants Virginia Tech students to be able to carry are concealed handguns, to defend themselves from muggers, rapists, even deranged school shooters like Cho.
It was probably the one thing that could have turned the tables. Many people tried to attack Cho during this and stop him. People closed doors, threw things at him. We've heard numerous stories of people trying to physically stop him and were still unable to.
It's a tough sell in a community as traumatized by gun violence as Virginia Tech. But Stanton is convinced guns in the hands of licensed, responsible students would make the campus safer.
Do you think parents would think twice about sending their kids to a school which allows for concealed weapons to be carried?
That's one reason this is an educational campaign, because the first reaction might be, oh my gosh, there are going to be guns on campus. But if you flip that around and understand that there are people there ready to defend themselves and possibly others if there's an attack, it actually becomes a safer place to be in that sense. Keep that finger pointing out, away from it.
The educational campaign today begins with me, a complete novice when it comes to handguns. To demonstrate how responsible gun owners behave, Ken and Steve Davids, president of the school's Pistol and Rifle Club, give me a lesson.
Good. Finger off the trigger. Good. Release slide lock. 2 hands. Line up, and then put the finger on the trigger. Yep.
Afterwards, Ken Stanton wanted to make a point.
Now, how did you feel about how that was that manageable for you to shoot?
Yes, it was. I mean, look, I'm not...
Right, I mean, surely you're not an expert, but you did very well with handling it and controlling it. But this is the realistic size that someone would conceal. So despite the fact that this is not a large, heavy weapon that would be very, able to handle, the recoil, this is something small. It was still manageable for you to carry and to handle.
And that,
and to aim correctly.
You think, means it's a safe weapon for people to carry around.
Right.
Stanton's group, Students for Concealed Carry on Campus, is a nationwide movement that claims 25,000 members, and it organizes, as most advocacy groups on campus do nowadays, on Facebook. There are 11 campuses across the country that allow students to carry concealed weapons. One of them, Blue Ridge Community College, is just an hour away from Virginia Tech.
There's never been a shooting. There's never been a stolen gun. There's never been any of these, speculatory situations where we say, oh, everything is going to go wrong. It's actually been shown quite the contrary, that students have been even more responsible with their right to carry on campus than than others.
But Virginia Tech is different. This is a place scarred forever by gun violence. We met with several of the officers of the Students for Concealed Carry on campus.
If I could ask for a show of hands, how many did know someone who was killed here at Virginia Tech? You all?
Wow.
A big majority.
It was a big group. And it was a close community before and after,
When she came to Virginia Tech, Nina Cameranio accepted the school's ban on carrying concealed guns. No more.
But since April 16th, I realized that's really not an option. And the longer we hem and haw and just let things go, people are dying over this issue. So I wanted to get involved to let the world know that we need the right to defend ourselves, and we need it now. We can't be sitting ducks. And that's what all college campuses are right now.
I'm 48. I remember when I was 21, and I'm not sure I would have trusted myself with a gun on certain Fridays and Saturday nights. That's the argument you hear from a lot of people. College students party, don't allow them to carry guns on campus because bad things will happen. How do you answer that?
Well, the funny thing about that is, people are already allowed to carry concealed off campus, and that's where all the drinking happens.
A lot of the people here making that argument are people who don't know much about firearms and project their own fear of firearms onto others and say, oh, well, I don't trust myself with a gun, so why should I trust anyone else with a gun?
So it's all about self-defense.
Yes, definitely. And the beauty of concealed carry is that you don't have to carry to be protected by it. So just the element of uncertainty makes a lot of these would-be criminals change their minds and choose a different place to attack.
I look just like I do every other day.
Virginia is one of 39 states that issue concealed carry licenses to qualifying residents. You've got to be 21 here, take a firearms safety course, and pass a background check. It was school officials who established the rule banning guns from campus, a rule that obviously did not stop Sung-Hui Cho. But for most students here, it seems licensed concealed weapons are not the answer.
I think it's definitely a step in the wrong direction. I think we should be teaching other things like getting along with each other and ways to deal with anger and depression, instead of saying that the way we deal with that is having a weapon on you.
This is school, and we're here for learning, and we're not here to. We shouldn't even have to worry about our safety in the first place to the extent where we need to carry around guns.
Would you feel safer or less safe if there were students who had concealed weapons?
Less safe.
I feel less safe as well.
If they put it to a vote of the students, do you have any sense of how it would go?
I think it'd be an overwhelming no. I really think, guns are not something we're really fond of after last year.
After a year of trauma and grief and recovery, they are moving forward here, debating how best to stop such violence in the future, how best to keep all these young people safe.